Hi Bull Bakers! I recently made a video on how not to make banana bread and it was a huge success. I pointed out some of the most common mistakes that people make when making banana bread. Well, I'm coming back again this week with another one for chocolate chip cookies, the holy grail of baking. Over the years, I've seen people make the same mistakes over and over again when making cookies. These little changes that really affect your end result. So let's get into it. Here's how not to make chocolate chip cookies. So for this video, we're going to use my best ever chocolate chip cookie dough from my website. It has almost 2,000 5-star reviews. We're going to make a batch the wrong way and then make it the right way. So our first step, let's talk about our butter. Do not use softened butter. For my recipe, you want to use fully melted butter. Now the reason being is the texture of your butter will affect the end result of your cookie. We want a gooey cookie in the middle, and that's what melted butter gives you. Our next ingredient is sugar. Now, don't use all white sugar. If you want those caramelly, gooey, bakery style cookies, you want to use brown sugar and white sugar in your cookies. Using all white sugar gives you a paler cookie, it's not as moist, and you don't have those lovely caramel notes. So now onto our wet ingredients, we're going to add in our eggs and vanilla extract. Now, don't skimp on the vanilla extract in your chocolate chip cookies. It's one of the main flavors. It just accents the salt, the chocolate. It works really well together, so don't forget this. Once you mix together your wet ingredients, it's time for our dry. Now, you've heard me say this before, don't add in all your dry ingredients together on top of your wet at the same time. The reason that we mix them separately is because we need to get everything mixed together first separately before we add it into our wet ingredients. If you don't, then you can end up with lumps of baking soda, lumps of salt. You want it evenly mixed. So now while we're talking dry ingredients, let's talk about the raising agent. Don't use baking powder in my cookies, use baking soda. Baking powder will make them thick and cakey, and we don't want that. We want them gooey and crinkly on top, and that's what baking soda will do. So let's talk about the star of the show here, the chocolate. This one is really important. Do not use chocolate chips in your cookies. I'll tell you why. They have stabilizers in them, they don't melt, and they stay that way in the cookie. You want to use a chocolate bar, not a candy bar, a big old bar of chocolate. Bittersweet, something around 72%. Chop that up so you get big chunks and little chunks. When this bakes, it will pool and it will melt all throughout your cookie, and that is what we're going for. Also, just a general note, chocolate chips are generally not as good quality as a chocolate bar. So just look at how different these two doughs are. This is the dough where we used lovely dark brown sugar and bars of chopped chocolate. In this bowl, we have chocolate chips and no brown sugar. I know by looking at this dough, there is going to be a huge difference in these cookies. So our cookie dough is done. What do we do now? Bake them? Nope, we are going to chill our cookie dough. Chilling the cookie dough gives you a better shape, better flavor, and better texture in your cookie. When you bake them off straight away, they can spread and you won't get the same texture. What I like to do is age my cookie dough, which means I make it days in advance and I keep it in the fridge. Over time, the flavor and the texture gets more concentrated in your cookie dough. So then when you bake it off, you get this iconic bakery style cookie that we're going for. So scooping our cookie dough, I don't want you to go rogue and just start scooping huge, big cookies. What I want you to do is follow the cup measurement in my recipe, a 1/4 cup measurement or 100 grams. The timing that I give in my recipe is based on the size of that cookie dough. If you make them smaller or bigger, the baking time will change, and we don't want to over bake or under bake our cookies. So when you're done scooping, don't flatten those cookies. I know it's so tempting, but it's not needed. We want our cookies to be nice big balls so they bake perfectly. If you flatten them, you're going to thin them out and they're going to end up crispy. So now let's get these into the oven. Both of these cookies we baked at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius for roughly around 15 minutes. So the cookies are in the oven. I have no idea what's going on in there, but let's wait and see. So this is my last note, but it's an important one. Pan bang your cookies. When they come straight out of the oven, bang them on your cold countertop. This great technique was invented by Sarah Kiefer. It gives you that lovely crinkle bakery style looking cookie and it pools the chocolate. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. Let's do a side by side comparison. Okay, so here we have the bad batch of cookies. Now just looking at them, you can see a big difference. We don't have that lovely crinkle on top because we used baking powder. And as you can see, the chocolate chips just don't melt. That's why I don't like to use them. We didn't chill our dough and it is very different looking. It spread a little bit and they're brown all over. We don't have that gooey center. Here we have the good batch and you can tell straight away. Number one, look at that chocolate. Seriously, chocolate chips will not melt like this. And when you pan bang, the chocolate just pools. You see this nice crinkles that the cookies have? That comes from the baking soda, but also chilling your dough for a long time. So now let's talk about the texture of these cookies. They baked crisp, so they're actually kind of firm in the middle. And look at this. And just like I said, baking powder makes things cakey. You can see it along here. Sometimes you want that and sometimes you don't. The cookies are crisp. There's no gooey center. We don't have pools of chocolate. This is a very different cookie. So texture of the good cookies, I mean, seriously, look at this. You got a lightly browned edge and then gooey, soft center. Let's crack it open and see. Do you see that? No stabilizers in this chocolate, so it just melts. And because we baked these cookies just right and we didn't flatten them, you get a thicker, gooier center and crisp around the edges. So there you have it, bold bakers, a few different steps and techniques, and these are the results that you get. So next time you make my best ever chocolate chip cookie, make sure to make it the right way. Let me know in the comments below what recipe you'd like to see me break down next time.